right, everybody. Hey, everyone. How's everyone doing? Welcome to our live stream. Happy Sunday, everyone. Let me know if you can hear and see me. Okay. All right, let's just go ahead and just do some checking here. I always like to do this just to make sure that everyone is able to watch and hear me and able to read the closed captions as well. All right. Yeah, everything seems to be looking good on my end. Yeah, let me know if there's anything going on though. So, thank you so much. I am so happy that we're having our live streams today. I know I said on Friday that we might not be having our live streams on Sunday anymore because of some new projects going on, but it happened. It happened. And I do want to keep our Sunday live streams. So I will try my very best to keep our Sunday live streams because I love hanging out with you. I mean, I really do. I miss when I don't do live streams. I do love making videos, I will say, but I do love, I really enjoy hanging out with you all. And yeah, just chatting and watching some videos, watching some crazy people do crazy things, and yeah, holding people accountable. It is hot. It's hot. My goodness. It is it's 84 degrees. It's 84 degrees right now. It is officially summer and I completely take it back. I wish it was winter all over again. I was really rooting for the summer. I'm like, "Yay, it's summertime." And now that it's here, I'm like, "Okay, can we not have it anymore? Where's winter? Santa, where are you?" It's just no, I don't want to do it anymore. It is absolutely miserable. It is so miserable. So I might be fanning myself throughout this live stream. I am I don't want to turn on my AC just yet. I always wait until I'm actually roasting. So unless you see an actual flame like the one that Chris Watts has, you know the little flame I'm talking about. Unless you see a flame on my head, I'm not going to turn on the AC. Only when I'm full of, fire, when I'm surrounded by fire, that's when I turn on the AC. So, not today, guys, not today. My God. But yeah, it is hot and it is June and we have a lot of things going on. So, yeah, thank you all so much for joining. We are going to be watching Behind Criminal Minds video. This is their newest video, and it is titled Chris Watts. Did the DA give Nichol Kessinger total immunity? Many of you requested this video, and of course, we're going to watch it because Behind Criminal Minds does an excellent job at putting things together and possibly bringing it forward to the new district attorney 2 or 3 years from now. And so, yeah, if you haven't done so already, or if you want to check it out, go ahead and also give them a thumbs up for all of their amazing work. Yeah, this is a new video, and the reason that this one is so important is because it's surrounding the district attorney, Nichol Kessinger, and whether or not there was some type of deal or some type of immunity, and the reason for why Nichol Kessinger wasn't investigated. And so, yeah, we're going to keep going down the rabbit hole for Nichol Kessinger, and I will be pulling up our very own calendar if we need to be able to talk about this case. So yeah. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. Oh my goodness, I don't even know where the video went. Oh my god, I'm like, where did the video go? It just like disappeared. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, I'm already having technical difficulties. Where did it even go? Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, okay, let's go ahead and try this again. I don't know where it went. Um, yeah, so let's go ahead and try this again. Like, I pulled up the calendar and then everything disappeared. Yeah, let's go ahead and just blame the brown bikini on this. The cursed brown bikini, where is it? I swear, I'm not wearing any brown, so it shouldn't be happening, but it's happening. All right, let's go ahead and find this video. Where is it? Here it is. Perfect. All right. All right, there we go. Awesome. Okay, we got the video all up now, and let's go ahead and dive into it.
On November 19th, 2018, District Attorney Michael Rourke conducted what would become one of the most consequential interviews that occurred following the conviction of Chris Watts. Just minutes into this press conference, a reporter asked the DA to expound on Nichol Kessinger's role within their investigation. This was the answer the DA provided.
She originally came forward and spoke to investigators on her own volition?
On her own volition? Oh my God. Okay, I'm already going to stop it. And I did forget to mention at the very beginning of this video. This video is an hour and a half long. So most likely, I will say definitely, we will be finishing it tomorrow because it's very long. And of course, we always pause and we have discussions and we share opinions, theories, and jokes, right? So we're definitely going to be finishing this one tomorrow, Monday, because it's very long. And as I said, we love discussing it. We love pausing it and we love talking about what we know and the things that we are still kind of wondering about and speculating about. Here, I already had to stop it because he said that Nichol Kessinger came forward of her own volition. Her own volition, he says. Oh, she just woke up one morning, saw her potato-headed boyfriend on the TV screen and said, "Oh no, my boyfriend is a killer. I should go and tell someone." No, that's not what happened. That's not what happened. Her employer, Anadarko, ended up finding an email between Nichol Kessinger and Chris Watts, and they came forward to the police and ended up telling them, "Hey, look at this. There's an email between the prime suspect and one of our employees, yeah, the coworker." And that is when Nichol Kessinger decided, "Daddy, oh my God, let me just call my daddy real quick. Hi, Daddy. I need help. Yeah. Oops. I need assistance." That is when what's his nuts, Dwayne Kessinger decided to show up and help his daughter out. So again, I already don't agree with this. He did not, or she did not show up by her own volition. Come on, really? Come on. Amanda, but we're rooting for a discovery and a piece of information that we are not aware as all. Oh my God. I'm struggling today. I think it's the heat. Or it's just always. I can't read. We're aware it's all the same the way NK's answers are false. Exactly. Exactly. Oh my goodness. I'm burning up. I'm burning up. I might end up with a flame on my head. You guys let me know because I might not see it. I might not even feel it because I'm already burning up. So if you do see a little flame, I start looking like like a potato, like an oven roasted potato, please let me know. Anyway, let's continue.
At the time, unfortunately, that she came in and spoke with investigators, she had deleted all of the information off of her phone that had any connection between her and Chris Watts. That hampered the investigation.
Oh my God. I already can't with DA Rourke, Michael Rourke. He's like, yeah, she came forward of her own volition. No one made her. No one forced her. No one found her emails between Chris and Nichol Kessinger. No. And she did also delete all of her text messages. We don't have any information. We're not able to recover any of the deleted research. But you know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that she hampered our investigation because she's innocent. Huh? So the district attorney says she hampered with our investigation. She affected the investigation. We were not able to conduct a full investigation because she deleted evidence. Is that not obstruction of justice? I'm sorry, is that not obstruction? Or I don't know, was I born last night? You guys let me know. Oh my God, my face is red. I'm like a tomato. It is hot. It is hot, but hey, I got 2 waters here. I have my hydration station right behind me, so I won't pass out, I don't think. This is a hot summer, especially here. We are in a drought. Full drought. Yeah, I'm going to be drinking a lot of this today. So, yeah, what do we think? I can't save you through my phone. She put spells on all those men. Do you have a fan? I do have a fan, but I turn it off because it messes with like I just don't like it because I hear sound and I feel like it affects the live stream. I just like it very quiet, but I do have some windows open. I don't know, guys. I'm like in a hot box right now. But yeah, he literally says that she hampered the investigation because she got rid of evidence that they could have used, and the DA would normally think that's a problem. Yeah, district attorneys and police officers, just in general, would think that that is a problem. If you go around deleting evidence, that's a little suspicious, isn't it? Apparently, this guy doesn't really think it is. Let's go ahead and listen to his reasoning.
That hampered our ability to get that electronic digital connection between the two. She was interviewed on multiple occasions. I believe that for the most part she was forthcoming in the
Oh
court.
my God. I can't. I can't with him already. I believe that for the most part, she was honest. She was straightforward, I think. I think. For the most part. Not really. Sometimes, whenever she remembered. What in the world? Forthcoming? Forthcoming. The lady that said, yeah, Kevin, if you want me to remember actual dates and actual conversations and even actual words that I used like 2 days ago, it's not gonna happen. That was not forthcoming at all. She was already refusing to help with the investigation by saying that she is not going to remember anything that she's asked. And it was true. She didn't believe anything at all.
Course of those investigations.
For most of the last 8 years, new information has arisen that many seem to agree implicates Nichol Kessinger's involvement. But no matter how much that evidence seemed to demonstrate her criminal culpability and the need for a new investigation, the case always concluded in the same dead end, where the DA of Weld County could simultaneously acknowledge that Chris Watts' mistress broke the law when she lied to law enforcement.
She did break the law. She broke it all kinds of ways. She didn't only break it in half, she broke it in thirds, fourths, fifths, and all of the pieces, all of them. I'm not good with geometry, but she has a lot of different pieces all over the place. And here we have him saying, I don't think that she did anything. We're not after a witch hunt here. Witch hunt? It's not a witch hunt when the mistress of the primary suspect is deleting evidence and then she's also telling Chris to delete the evidence as well. How is that a witch hunt? A witch hunt would be going after Nicole Atkinson, which is what a lot of insane people have been saying for the past few years. That is a witch hunt because there's absolutely no evidence that Nicole Atkinson and her son were involved with anything. A witch hunt would be going after Beyonce for this crime. I don't know. I heard the song, All the Single Ladies. Was it Beyonce? Was she tired of being a single lady? That would be a witch hunt. But Nichol Kessinger deleting her text messages from her phone, that is not a witch hunt. How's that a witch hunt? Come on. Karen, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the super chat. Was it the single ladies? Oh, God. All right. Yes, thank you. Thank you, thank you. But yeah, what is going on here? He's also very clammy. I mean, I don't know. Is it summer? It probably is. It says down here weather. Right, weather. Every time that I see one of his interviews, he's very clammy. I don't know. I mean, it might just be that it's really hot. He's probably just a clammy person. I mean, I'm clammy right now because it's really hot. But I do find it interesting. I mean, I don't know if it's just because he gets really nervous when he's asked questions about Nichol Kessinger and then he just starts sweating. But it's just something that popped up for me. Again, and don't take it as anything. For me, I just think it's weird that he's always a little sweaty. Anyway, let's continue.
That she hampered their investigation and then completely refused to do anything about it. And now, after nearly a decade, the true crime community still can't seem to answer why. Why would any district attorney turn away from justice and ignore the evidence they admit they never bothered to investigate? But now, after all of this time, I believe I can finally answer that question. In today's episode, I will lay the foundation for what I believe is the primary case against Nichol Kessinger, the evidence that the DA's office chose to ignore, and ultimately why I believe they chose to ignore it. Because no matter what the DA, Nichol Kessinger, or anyone else may...
This is definitely Nichol. That's definitely Nichol. When I watch this video, I sometimes wonder if she knew that the camera was there. Did she just walk in front of it and was like, oh, I hope nobody saw me. I wonder. I do wonder. But yeah, there's a lot of evidence against Nichol Kessinger. We have been putting our own timeline together here and tons of evidence. And so I think that when you put all of the evidence together, whether it's in one video or 10,000 different videos, it does end up getting a little convoluted. And so I think that is probably one of the problems that the true crime community in general has, is that all of the information is all over the place. And I think you're bringing it all together and just putting everything that Nichol Kessinger did in just one solid video would really help answer a lot of the questions that we have. And so, yeah, I'm interested to see what he has put together in terms of the evidence and see if it matches with ours. We'll be pulling up our calendar as well, and see. We'll be comparing them and see what we're missing or if there's anything else that we need to add. But yeah, just reading your comments back here. Um, yeah, Shelly, he's full of shit despite being a politician. He's so full of shit. Yep, definitely politician. Um, yes, or her cousin. Yeah. He had his head up his arse. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, let's go ahead and continue. Let's go ahead and see what happens.
may believe surrounding the facts of this case, one thing will always be true. There is no statute of limitations for complicity in a homicide.
Nope.
This is the case against Nichol Kessinger, the Chris Watts saga, episode 1.
I think that's what keeps us going too, right? There is no statute of limitations for murder, just like there is no statute of limitations for an accomplice. If you were an accomplice to a murder, there's no statute of limitations. And eventually it's going to come back to you. You know, that is the hope, right? That is the best that we can hope for, is that it eventually comes back and that a new district attorney is able to actually see this evidence and bring forward charges. At the very least, an actual investigation. I mean, that is the bare minimum that I at least ask for, is a full investigation. I think that's the worst part about this, is that I think that the community and the public in general as a whole, we wouldn't be as obsessed with this case and wanting to get to the bottom of it if at least they had done a full investigation and found completely that Nichol Kessinger was not involved at all. That would have been, I think, sufficient. But what happened is that they dropped everything. They dropped the entire investigation. They stopped looking into her text messages, her deleted search history, everything, because Chris Watts confessed. That's the problem here. He confessed, and then all of a sudden, everything, all of the evidence against Nichol Kessinger went out the window? How does that happen? That is why we are still talking about this case. And I think that the public needs answers. We need answers. At the very least, we need an investigation. Let's continue. Turning a blind eye.
In the last several months, I began the arduous process of collating all of the data points that I have collected concerning the overwhelming evidence in support of reopening an investigation into Nichol Kessinger. This evidence has been requested by my former colleague, who has indicated that he will analyze that evidence if and when he wins the Weld County DA election in 2028. With that in mind, I began preparing the evidence with two sets of people in mind. Those who are already well aware of the body of evidence that demonstrates Nichole's complicity, and then those who are not yet convinced.
Yes. 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 This is amazing. Because this is exactly what needs to be done. There has to be a set of evidence for those of us who already believe that Nichol Kessinger is involved. And then there has to be a separate not even a separate evidence, all the same evidence, but it's just the way that you present it, right? There is evidence that is presented to people who already suspect that she was more involved than she let on. And then the same evidence has to be presented to the same people who don't believe or haven't been fully convinced of it yet. And that is the tricky part, because if this were to go to trial, the same thing would have had to happen. You have to convince 12 people, 12 different jurors that your story is convincing enough, that there is enough evidence to convict. And so this is perfect. I love this. I love this because you don't convince people, you can't convince people that already believe that she's guilty. You need to convince the people that don't believe that she's guilty or that are still kind of on the fence. Those are the people that need to know the full story. Let's continue.
Today, I want to address those who do not yet believe that Nichol Kessinger bears any criminal responsibility in this case. Consider this my opening statement at the beginning of a jury trial, what will essentially be my thesis. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe there is considerable circumstantial evidence that supports Nichol Kessinger, at the very least, likely knew what Chris Watts did, when he did it, and how. I also believe that the evidence suggests that Nichol Kessinger may have even helped assist him after the commission of the crime.
Yes.
But most of all, I believe that I have uncovered new information that supports that District Attorney Michael Rourke may have presented Nichol with the central reason why she was never investigated in 2018. In light of the sheer volume of inconsistencies that I will present to you today, the lies that she told, examples of obstruction of justice, and outright misinformation that hampered and delayed the investigation, it now seems obvious that the DA offered Nichol Kessinger what is referred to as a deferred prosecution agreement.
Whoa. I gotta write this down. I gotta write this down. Deferred prosecution agreement. You know, I'm going to be writing a lot of notes throughout this. Yeah, it's going to be very discussion heavy today. Because of course we're still going down the Chris Watts rabbit hole. We are not done with it at all. Not even close. We're not even close on this channel with going down the Nichol Kessinger rabbit hole. So yes, I'm going to be writing stuff down throughout this. And yeah, if any of you know any extra information, you want to share links, go ahead. Please go ahead. This is incredible. Deferred prosecution agreement. I mean, this is all things that we need to be, knowledgeable about and, educate ourselves on to better understand, because it's so weird, right? It's just, again, it's so weird. If deferred prosecution agreement can explain why Dwayne was in the room, right? Why was Daddy in the room with a 30-year-old grown woman? This might be able to explain it. And understanding this might be able to explain why, even with all of the evidence, Nichol Kessinger is still free. Wow. Oh my God. Let's continue.
DPA is a formal agreement that exists between a party of a criminal action and the district attorney. It is an agreement that allows for that person to avoid prosecution in exchange for cooperation with the state's case. In so doing, avoiding any penalties, fines, and ultimately avoiding any prison time.
Oh my
And
God.
in the state of Colorado in 2018, there was no law requiring DA Rourke to disclose to the public this possible DPA between him and Nichol Kessinger. So if DA Rourke gave Nichol an immunity agreement, he would not be legally required to tell anyone about it. I believe that the evidence you will hear today is clear.
Are we for real? Oh my God. Oh, wow. Holly, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Crime Deep Dive, welcome. Welcome to Silver. This is incredible. Okay, so Rourke was not required to let the public know that he was doing this DPA, right? This deferred prosecution agreement with Nichol Kessinger. I mean, no wonder, right? No wonder she wasn't challenged. She wasn't asked more questions. When she was asked questions and she gave a weird answer, no one challenged her. No one pushed her. The entire time, the whole time. If this is true, right? If she was given a deferred prosecution agreement, that means that no amount of evidence was going to lead to her arrest. That is insanity, especially if you go down the investigation and then you end up finding out, holy shit, the person that I gave a DPA to was actually an accomplice. That does not look good for the district attorney. Not at all. This is crazy, guys. Holy shit. Let's go ahead and continue.
Either the DA made a deal with Nichol to protect her from prosecution, and he knew full well that she was likely aware of what transpired the morning of August 13th, 2018, or this is the most incompetent district attorney to ever sit in the seat of power in all of Weld County history. It cannot be both.
Yep.
Now, I realize that making such a statement is a bold claim, and
It is a very bold claim, but hey, other people have made that claim. I have made it myself, right? I mean, I always say Rourke likes to give away plea deals like he's Oprah. You get a plea deal, and you get a plea deal, and you get a plea deal. Everybody gets a plea deal. Woohoo! And he got an extra 2 or 3 terms as a district attorney. How convenient, right? The best way for a district attorney to win another seat, to get reelected, is to win cases. And the best way to win cases is to have a guilty plea already automatic. And that's what he got with Chris Watts. A guilty plea. He didn't even have to do any actual work. He just had to go to Potato Head and be like, "Hey, Chris, yeah, do you just want to take a plea deal? Because if you don't, you're gonna have to sit in front of a whole jury of people. Everyone's gonna stare at you, and we're gonna have to ask you a lot of questions." And of course, Chris is like, me no like questions. And of course, he said, "Yeah, it's okay. I'll take the plea deal." I mean, how easy is that? I could have done that. Anybody could have done that. Gia could have done that. Does that mean does that mean that she is qualified for district attorney? No. I'm not qualified either. But somehow this guy was qualified, and all he did was talk to Chris and be like, "Hey, Chris, it's going to be really hard. You're going to spend a lot of long hours up on that stand. Very, very hard for you. Are you sure you want to do that?" Of course, Chris is like, "No, I don't want to do that." Zero work put into it. Wow. Thank you so much, Shelly. Shelly, thank you so much. Oh my God. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for the super chat. He didn't want anyone to know, Rox. Yes, exactly. He didn't want anyone to know. He didn't want anyone to know what was going on, all of the deals that were going on in the back end, right? I mean, we have suspected this for a very, very long time, and I'm glad that Behind Criminal Minds is putting this together, because we've done our own research, and it's all coming together. Thank you so much, Eileen. I appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat. And thank you so much, Tiger. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you guys so much. Celebrate. Yeah, no one to run against him as a DA also hints at corruption. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no one ran against him. And then he also gave Nichol Kessinger some options, is what it looks like. Let's continue.
And the next logical step is to present the evidence that I believe supports my claim, which is why I am going to present all of the evidence that I have that shows in striking detail the number of times that Nichol Kessinger either broke the law by lying to law enforcement, fundamentally misrepresented the truth,
Yeah.
omitted facts,
Yeah.
or directly implicated herself in what is, in my opinion, evidence of her complicity. And I want you to be aware of this possible DPA between the DA and Nichol going into my presentation of the facts, because I assure you that by the time I'm done, I believe it will be the only logical explanation for why they chose to ignore her possible involvement, either as an accessory, a primary motivating factor for the commission of the crimes, or as an accomplice after the fact.
Yep.
And know this, that whatever agreement, written, verbal, or understood, that may exist between the DA and Nichol, that starting in January of 2029, a new district attorney will be seated in Weld County, Colorado.
Yep.
And it is my hope that when that time comes, they will see the enormity of what was missed in their investigation in the fall of 2018.
We can only hope. We can only hope. Oh my goodness. 2029, a new district attorney looking at all of the evidence. I mean, we can only hope. Whatever Rourke did, it's going to go out the window, because once he's gone, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. A new DA can come in with fresh eyes. They can look at the case and they can go ahead and reopen it if they want to. They can go ahead and bring her in and investigate her and ask her questions and challenge her and go back to the lazy dog and go get that footage again. I don't know if that's even possible anymore, but it doesn't matter. They have the resources. They have the resources, and this is all that we want as a public, as a society, for them to do the right thing. 4 victims we're talking about here, 4 victims. And if we allow this kind of thing to happen, it's going to continue to happen to other people. So this is the thing. We're talking about it not because it was just in the past. We can also prevent this from happening in the future. And we can also bring people accountable, bring them to justice in the future as well. And I think that this sets a really bad precedent when a DA just hands out DPAs and plea deals. What does that tell future criminals, future mistresses like Nichol Kessinger? Oh, all I have to do is bat my eyelashes, say, oh, I'm hungry, I don't remember, and then they can get away with it, right? That it just sets a really, really bad precedent. Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you so much. Oh my God, I missed a few. Let me go back here. I missed a few of them. Melly, welcome. Welcome to Silver. Welcome to members. Ericisa, thank you so much. I appreciate you so much. NK's guilty on so many levels. Absolutely. And when we say so many levels, Ericisa, exactly. It's not just one level. She's guilty of everything. She's guilty of lying to police, telling Chris to delete evidence, possibly knowing what happened, possibly planning it with him, being an accomplice, being an accessory. I mean, the list goes on, right? The list goes on. The one thing that she isn't, though, is innocent. She's not innocent. Not at all. Not even close. Let's continue.
And that finally, justice will have its day. So without further ado, let's begin.
Oh my God, we haven't even begun yet. Goodness. Goodness gracious. We're 30 minutes in and we haven't even started yet. Let's continue.
We have never gone through all of Nichol Kessinger's interviews with law enforcement. In previous videos, I have provided the various highlights of when and where I found Nichol's statements to be provably untrue. But all of that changes today. It's time for us to review the totality of what Nichol said, when she said it, and its spurious relationship with the truth. And there is no better place to start than the beginning. August 16th, 2018 was the mark of the first formal in-office interview with Nichol Kessinger, her father Dwayne Kessinger, and her then handler, Agent Kevin Kobach.
Oh my God. I was not expecting that. What? Her handler? Oh shit. Oh man. Behind Criminal Minds. Dang. Ooh. Coming in with the snark. Love it. Love it. I absolutely love it. Man, her handler. I love it. Absolutely love it. That's exactly what Kevin was. He was her handler, her crush. Oh, Nikki. You can call me at 2 in the morning. Yeah, I'm always up for you. Oh my God. As we know, Kevin could have done a better job, but he didn't. He did not. He didn't even try. Mr. Pizza Delivery Guy. Dragon Onion, thank you so much. Thank you. NK better start Googling Twister with ladies. Yes. Oh, I love it. How do I play Twister with two ladies? I've never done that before. Do I spin it still? Like, do I have to put my arm on any color or do I just lay there? What happens? Oh my goodness. All right, let's continue.
The day prior, Nichol had met with the FBI at a nearby park and told the very first iteration of her story. There are so many provable lies in her first statement to the FBI that they alone could have resulted in nearly a dozen charges of obstruction, lying to law enforcement, or a number of other related charges. But we will save that interview for a future episode.
Oh no!
But it's here, sitting in front of the cameras, being forced to tell her story for the first time in person, that Nichol is going to set the stage for one of the most shocking failures in Weld County prosecutorial history, demonstrating a pattern of investigatory misconduct that reveals only one of two things. Either this officer of the law was inept and completely incapable of doing his job, or from the onset, the DA intended to ignore Nichol's possible involvement and offered her a get-out-of-jail-free card in exchange for whatever version of the truth she was willing to proffer.
You're not.
Hey, we have asked the same exact question on this channel. I've asked myself, is it that Kevin is just completely incompetent? Is it that? Is it that he was a newbie? They just hired him off the street that same day. Hey, guy. Hey, come here. Yeah, come here. Have you ever had employment before? You have? Okay. You know how to write? Okay. Do you know how to read? Perfect. Okay. How would you like being a CBI agent? Yeah, we just need bodies right now. Yeah, very, very low staffed. Would you like it? Yeah, okay, yeah, come on board. No, not. It's fine. This was the interview. You're 100% cool. All right, here's a badge. Here's a pen and paper. There's a lady in there. Her name is Nichol Kessinger. She's the mistress of a man who murdered his family. Ask her questions. You got this. Yeah, you got it. All right, I've wondered that. I've wondered if that's what happened. He's just a newbie. Or is he incompetent? Or did the DA tell him, hey, Kevin, don't even ask questions. You're just sitting here. It's fine. You're still getting paid the same paycheck. You don't even have to really do any effort. Like, you're still getting paid the same. Just ask your questions. What happened here? What do we think happened? Maybe a combination of the three. Ineptitude. He's still crushing, right? He's crushing on her. And the DA told him to step back a little bit. Who knows, right? Who knows? Anyway, let's continue.
You're not being interrogated as a criminal suspect. We're here to understand your relationship with Chris and what you know about Chris and his family, and events relating to Chris Watts. And do you know him as Chris or Christopher?
Either one.
Okay.
It is so important to understand the context of this moment right now. It has been only 3 days since the crimes that Chris Watts committed the morning of August 13th.
Yep.
Law enforcement has virtually no concrete information about the history between Chris and Nichol, other than what she told them the day prior.
Yep.
But here and now, Agent Kobach has already set the stage for this entire investigation. He just told Nichol that she is not being interrogated as a criminal suspect.
Yeah.
And all I can say to that is why? For all they knew at this point, Nichol could have very well been the mastermind behind the entire series of events. And therefore, they had no reason to treat her as though she was incapable of being viewed as a suspect.
Exactly. Exactly. I've wondered this myself. Why did they treat her like an Amber Fry? Right off the bat. Right off the bat. She could have very well have been the mastermind, which is what we think she was. She could have actually even done the deed. They didn't even know at this point. Kevin, Rourke, no one knew. And they were already interviewing her on the 16th, okay? 3 days later, telling her, "You're not a suspect." What do you mean she's not a suspect? You don't even know that she's a suspect. They were already saying she's not a suspect. How? How does that work? You don't become a suspect until there is evidence, right? Like I get that. That is why Chris was a suspect from the very beginning, but I mean, to completely exclude her as a suspect, it was just wrong. It was wrong. It was the wrong move to make from the very, very beginning. Let's continue.
And the evidence that supports everything I just said can be found in the words that leave Nicole's mouth mere seconds later.
So the phone number that you reached him on, can you tell me what that number was?
I think I deleted that out of my phone too. I just cut him out of my life.
It's no secret to anyone who has ever even casually observed the facts surrounding this case that Nicole's penchant to delete evidence is central to the contention that so many of us have with DA Michael Rourke. Surprisingly, there are a growing number of people who now genuinely believe that Nichol Kessinger's lies were little more than her being embarrassed, that she was just trying to distance herself from the monster she had been sharing a bed with.
Yep.
Unfortunately for those people, they completely misunderstand the law, because you don't get to lie to law enforcement just because the facts of what happened make you uncomfy. In fact, lying to law enforcement or deleting evidence in a criminal action even once is a crime that can send you to prison.
Yeah.
Earlier this month, a man in Virginia was convicted of multiple charges related to deleting evidence. And do you want to take a guess at how many years in prison he's now facing for a crime that is strikingly similar to what Nichol Kessinger did? I'd be willing to bet you probably didn't guess 10 years, did you? But if you had, you'd be wrong, because he's facing a 21-year sentence in a federal penitentiary. And I would like to remind you of what DA Michael Rourke himself said in this public press conference.
She originally came forward and spoke to investigators on her own volition. Prior to the time, unfortunately, that she came in and spoke with investigators, she had deleted all of the information off of her phone that had any connection between her and Chris Watts. That hampered the investigation. That hampered our ability to get that electronic digital connection between the two.
Yeah.
She was interviewed on multiple occasions. I believe that for the most part she was forthcoming in the course of those investigations.
It's plain as day. Nichol Kessinger.
Tootsie. Tootsie Pop. NK, if you're here, please hit that thumbs up. What? Oh man, that was freaking hilarious. Tootsie. Oh man. You guys make my day. You guys are so funny. Oh, man. Oh god. I saw something else was funny and I where is it? There was another funny comment that I just read. Oh my god. Oh no, I missed it. Where is it? Oh no. It'll come back up. Thank you so much. Oh god. Yes. But okay, again, look at what's happening right now. Look at Nichol Kessinger. She's already giggly. She's laughing. And again, it makes a lot of sense that if she had a DPA, that is why her dad is there. Because if she was already being treated as a witness and not as a suspect, then she was allowed to bring her dad. He's not even her lawyer. Oh my, this is so crazy. Let's continue.
Not only deleted vital evidence that they needed in their investigation, but her actions directly hampered their investigation. And I would like to remind you that law enforcement in their discovery later admits that they never recovered any of Nichole's messages, her emails, or conversations that she deleted. In fact, during the same period of time that Nichol was being interviewed, Trent Bolt was also being asked questions about his alleged connection to Chris Watts. And when law enforcement determined that his story was not credible, they threatened him with jail time for lying to them. So again, I have a very simple question. Why did the DA publicly admit that Nichol committed a crime when she deleted evidence, that she hampered their investigation, and then failed to prosecute her for it? It almost seems as though they had some kind of agreement in place, doesn't it?
So let's just start with like a timeline of your getting to know Chris, how you guys met, where you met, all those things. And let's just run. And I'm not going to ask you specific questions unless I think it's necessary. I'll let you just tell me your story. I think it's a little bit easier that way. So I just want to know how you met him, where you met him, how long you guys were dating, and those kind of things initially.
And then lies.
Okay. I think I met him sometime in June. Probably.
There it is. There's already the first lie. Okay. I think I met him sometime in June. Oh my goodness. Already lying. This is the other thing, is that the way that Trent Bolt and the other lady, Amanda, I think was her name, the way that they were treated was so different from the way that Nichol Kessinger was treated. Even the babysitter, okay? The babysitter was treated so much different than the mistress, okay? The mistress, the person who spent the most time with Chris. So again, it makes complete sense that there was some type of DPA, some type of immunity agreement before Nichol Kessinger came in, so that they can get as much information from her without her lawyering up, and without even doing the full deep dive that they would have to do as investigators and as the district attorney. But again, that is just that is what I think based on everything, and of course we're watching it here right now as well. So yeah, let's continue.
Probably early June. It might have been May. It was just talking at work. It was pretty casual. And he didn't have a wedding ring on his finger. And every time I talked to him, he didn't tell me that he was in a relationship. He didn't even mention his kids right away either.
Oh, wow.
And then one day he told me that he had 2 kids. I was like, that's pretty cool. And started telling me about his kids.
That sounded like a sarcastic comment.
No, I thought it was kind of cute. I was like, oh, he's a dad. It was like right around Father's Day too. So whenever that is in June.
Now I want to address
Whenever that is that June, Dad? You're my dad, aren't you? When's Father's Day? Because I don't really care about you. It's June, right? Oh, okay. I thought it was so cute. Please, lady. Nichol Kessinger saying, oh, I didn't know that he was married. He didn't even have a wedding ring. Notice how that's the first thing that she throws in there, right? It's a little tidbit. I looked at his hands. I didn't notice a ring. And then later he told me he had children. I thought it was so cute. So fake. It's so creepy. Yes. Again, the entire interview was very performative. Very, very performative. Let's continue.
something that continues to come up whenever I discuss the Watts case. Somewhere in the comments section, someone is going to ask, why are we relitigating an already thoroughly analyzed case? Now, I could bring up the Menendez brothers, Ted Bundy, or any other case that has been discussed ad nauseum by all of the true crime community. But I'd rather bring up the case of Joseph DeAngelo. You see, it was because of the dogged determination of everyday people who came together and chose not to let that case die that ultimately brought him to justice. It took over 42 years of cold case investigators, armchair detectives, true crime enthusiasts, and people just like you before that case was finally cracked. and the man known as the
Look at
Golden
him.
State
So
Killer
pathetic.
was finally brought to justice.
So
So
pathetic.
remember, this may be something you've heard.
Yeah, I mean, even if Nichol Kessinger is 80 years old and we're having to bring her in, I don't know, it won't be a brown bikini at that point. What maybe like a full like a really like long, I don't know, what are those things that you wear every morning? Whatever we need to bring her in, if she's 80, 90, it doesn't matter. The thing is that if you were guilty, if you were an accomplice, and if you planned it, if you were the mastermind, there is no statute of limitations. Yeah. The law is going to catch up to you. Justice will catch up to you, like it did with D'Angelo. It didn't matter that the man was on his way out. He still has to pay for what he did. And yeah, even though he was free for the majority of his life, he still ended up in prison. So, hey, even if we have to wait for who knows how many years, we're never going to stop. Let's continue.
Heard a time or 2 or 20, but justice for Shanann and her beautiful children will always be at the forefront of everything we seek to accomplish. And I say all of that because in this initial response that we hear from Nichol, we hear her first series of lies, crimes she committed by telling law enforcement demonstrably false statements.
Yeah.
Information they now know is untrue because the evidence now shows that Nichol knew exactly who Chris was. That's why she was searching for him and Shanann's names on Google months before she claims to have even met Chris.
Yeah, this is the first lie. This is the first lie. The first question that Kevin asked her was, hey, so tell me, how did you meet Chris? Where did you meet him? You know, tell me all that stuff. And she goes, I think I met him in June. I think I met him in June. And then we see all her searched items, right, on Google. She Googled Chris in 2017. And then she Googled Shanann in January of 2018. And then before that, she Googled Shanann again in September of 2017. So how interesting, right? She knew Chris, or she says that she met him in June, but she already knew about the family. So that was the very first lie. Very first lie. And again, this was not looked into. Let's continue.
It's obvious that Nichol Kessinger knew that Chris was married,
Yeah.
that he had children,
Of
and
course.
that right now her only mission is to obfuscate the truth, to confuse law enforcement into seeing her as nothing more than a jilted lover who somehow stumbled her way into one of the most horrendous crimes in Colorado history.
Did he mention the children's name or his significant other's name?
I didn't know his significant other's name for a while. And then I think he told me his kids' names pretty quick, but to be honest with you, on an exact date of when that happened, I don't know.
I don't know. And to be honest with you, to give you an exact date of when that happened, I don't know. All right, here, let's go ahead and help you, Nichol Kessinger. Let's go ahead and help her, yeah? Let's refresh her little memory. Here you go, Nichol. He told you on the 12th. Probably sooner, probably before that. On the 12th is when we have Chris Watts and Nichol Kessinger's work email. So at the very, very least, she knew the names on the 12th. Sorry, guys. I don't know what's wrong with my throat. Every time I laugh, I just end up with throat issues. But yeah, so she knew their names at least by the 12th, or she knew that they existed. She knew that Chris was married, had a full-on family, because they were emailing each other about it. Nichol Kessinger kept telling him that the life that he had is something that she wanted for herself. So again, lie. She's saying, I did not know his significant other's name. Very interesting, too, that Nichol Kessinger, she refers to Shanann as a significant other. Never his wife, never his partner. No. significant other. Those two. That woman, yeah, never refers to her as wife or Shanann. Let's continue.
Now, we've clearly established that what Nichol just said is a lie, but I need to explain why her lie is so important from a legal perspective. When you lie to law enforcement, it is not just a criminal issue that could land you in prison, it's also a matter of credibility. At this point, the DA did not have any idea how long this case would take to resolve. But what we do know is that the DA intended to call Nichol Kessinger as a witness for the state. That meant that he had a prosecutorial responsibility to vet the veracity of Nichol's statements against what they knew to be true. Weeks later, when the DA received the data report that proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that Nichol Kessinger had been lying to them from the very first words out of her mouth, at that moment, they had a 5-alarm fire in their house. Their primary witness, the person who was speaking with Chris Watts before, during, and after the commission of this heinous crime, was now lying to them constantly from the very inception of their case. Any good defense lawyer would have eviscerated Nichol Kessinger on cross-examination and completely impeached her testimony, her credibility, and ultimately exposed her to criminal liability just by virtue of her repeated false statements. But then there's the more important question that apparently no one bothered to ask. Why? Why does Nichol keep lying? In every other case, when someone lies to law enforcement, it's either to protect someone they love or to protect themselves. But DA Rourke would have you believe that somehow he exonerated Nichol Kessinger despite admitting that she committed crimes and yet failed to provide any evidence of that exoneration. I hope it's starting to get a little more clear why I now believe that the DA may have had an immunity agreement with Nichol. But if you're not yet convinced, I promise if you keep listening, you will be.
So can you just...
So something just came to my mind right now that he was talking about being cross-examined at trial. It does make me wonder, right, that... So did Rourke already know he was going to give Chris Watts a plea deal? Because that is the only way that this makes any sense. Why would he give Nichol Kessinger a DPA only to later find out that she was lying? And what if later they found out that she actually murdered people and that she was the one who planned it? Like, what then? So to me, it almost seems like it didn't matter. The truth didn't really matter. It didn't matter what she said because Rourke already planned on giving Chris a plea deal. And so, right, none of this even mattered. Because if there wasn't a plea deal in the future, then they would not have given her a DPA, right? Does that make any sense? I hope I'm making sense. This is just the way I'm thinking about it. Because how are you going to be so confident that this person is innocent and then later find out, oh shit, she's actually lying? And then what? You have to backtrack, right? Wouldn't you have to then pull that agreement and say, oh, never mind. We find that you have actually been more involved than you said you were. But if he was already planning on giving him a plea deal, then nothing they found on Nichol Kessinger would have mattered because the plea deal was still going to happen. So whether or not Nichol Kessinger was actually guilty of anything, it didn't matter. It didn't matter because what really mattered at the end of the day was winning a case. And the best way to win a case is to get a plea deal. That's the best way. The best way was just to get Chris Watts to admit to everything, say, yes, I killed everybody. I did it by myself. And then that's it. You win a case. Easy, simple. He didn't even have to lift a finger to do it. That was it. So that's what makes me wonder. It's just very, very strange that when it comes to this case, the truth wasn't really important. What was more important was getting a conviction. That's what it seems like to me. getting a conviction, getting a clean and just straight conviction, make it fast. Let's not waste taxpayer dollars. That was more important than actually finding out the truth. And I think that is why we are so angry as a public, because when you see the victims, a pregnant mom and her two children, and they didn't get full justice, why? So that a district attorney can go on and win another election is absolutely insane. That is, it's not right, and it should not be allowed to happen ever again. And so this is why we're talking about it. Let's continue. You guys let me know what you think. Again, you guys, this is just what I'm thinking out loud as I'm watching this, because again, it makes no sense. How did they know that she was 100% innocent? They didn't. They didn't. Let's continue.
Take us through kind of a little bit of the early part of how he courted you or you courted him. I don't know which one happened. How you guys got to know each other.
Does that?
I guess we just started talking. He actually, so part of my job is to manage the gas monitors that we have. So Anadarko requires all of their field personnel to carry like gas monitor sensors for.
All right. So part of her job is to monitor gas sensors. Gas sensors. I'm just gonna write that down. Like I said, we've gone through this rabbit hole already. We've been down it, but every time that I watch it again, something else pops up. And then I'm able to then connect it to our calendar, right? Because when we look at what happened on the day of and then the few days that followed, there's a lot of weird stuff that happened, right? There was a truck at Survey 319 that was putting water in or taking water out of the tanks, whatever it may be. And again, who sent that truck out? Who sent it? Was it Nichol Kessinger? Part of her job was to detect the gas at Survey 319 and at the entire oil field. So again, right, very suspicious that there happened to be an oil leak on Friday on the same day that Nicole and Chris Watts took the day off. She's also a gas monitor person. She also hands, who knows, right? I joke that she hands out the gift cards, but who really knows? Again, she's very, very involved here, but the way that she talks about her role, she wants to kind of distance herself from it. She's like, yeah, I did the monitoring of the gas. And what the guys had to do, they just had to carry this like little monitor around, and yeah, that's it. Okay. How about you tell us more about your job, not what the guys are carrying around, your job. But let's listen in, right? She doesn't go into what she does with her job. She just goes down more rambles, things that don't even matter.
For toxic gases, and it's my job to control the inventory, any issues, anything like that. And we were having some pretty serious like equipment issues, and we had numerous amounts of people coming in my office one day, and he happened to be one of them.
He happened to be one of them. Okay. So again, wrote it down. She monitors the gas. Yes, exactly, Shelley. Yes, she sent the leak plan in motion, right? These are all of the questions that we have. If she monitors the gas, and now she's saying we had a lot of issues, and Chris just happened to be one of the men that walked into my office, and I was like, I loved mashed potatoes. I wonder what that one looks like on my twister mat. Or whatever she said when she saw Chris, right? But see, the thing is, again, very brief detail about her job, and then goes on and talks about Chris's job at length. At length. Oh, he did something like he was a rover, and then he became a field coordinator, and then he was this, and then he was that, and then he began his workout journey on the 16th of May. Like, she knows everything about him, but does not talk about her own job. And again, I think this is just part of the plan. Okay. No more chicken and carrots for NK. Now it's yes. Fried chicken and Oreos. Yeah, another contradiction. Exactly, Raven. Yes, another contradiction. She said at first she had no idea what he did. And then she went on to describe his job, knowing what he made. Exactly. I don't know what he does. I think he works at Anadarko. I'm not really sure. I thought maybe he was just the janitor. Yeah. And then I ended up realizing, oh no, you do work here. Here's a gift card. You're so handsome. Oh my goodness. Let's continue.
And I'd seen him before, like they meet in the lunchroom, and that's where I go put my lunch in the fridge. So I'd seen him, but I didn't ever like talk to him. So that day we just started talking, and then every time I saw him in the hallway after that, and it was always hit or miss, like it wasn't an everyday thing, it was just when I saw him, we just started talking, and we just kind of had a lot in common and just hit it off, so we'd always have, pretty good conversations.
What do they have in common? I do want to know how they started talking to each other because she says, I have seen him before. He was kind of like over there by the kitchen. I just like saw him. And it was a hit or miss. And then all of a sudden he came up to me and said, Hi, my middle name is Lee. What's your middle name? And I just said, My middle name is Lee too. We have so much in common. Is that what happened? What happened? Did they talk about each other's temples? Oh, I noticed your temple. It's a little shiny. Mine too. Oh my God. How'd you get yours? Chicken nuggets? Oh, mine just, I just pick up my head. Yeah. But hey, we have a lot in common. Come on. What do they have in common? Again, she's saying that she talked to him hit or miss. They walked down the hallway and they're like, hey, what do you have in common? I like fast cars. Me too. Bye. They walked down the hallway the next day. Oh, hey, Chris. Yeah, my middle name's Lee. Yours is too? Awesome. Oh, my God. We have so much in common. Bye. How does that work? Let's continue.
And then, I don't know, one day he told me that he had kids and started talking about his kids and then mentioned, yes, that I have a wife, but we're getting separated.
What we just heard.
One day he came up to me and mentioned that I have a wife. Notice how she can't even really say the wife. She has such a hard time acknowledging that Chris was married. The wife. The wife. It's like she's in so much pain, right? It's like she has her guts are probably like coming out of her booty hole. She's like, the wife. What's going on? Why is it so hard for her to say wife? That's what she was, Nicole. The wife. But again, she struggles to say wife. She struggles to say Shanann. She struggles to say his daughters, his girls. No, she says the kids, those kids, the kiddos, the woman, those two. Very distanced. Let's continue.
Heard is the first of Nichol Kessinger's explanations for how she met Chris and how she justified dating him in light of him being married with 2 children and one on the way. Nothing that we have seen from this investigation, the discovery, or anything that has come from the DA's office corroborates her story.
Nope.
But the substance of Nicole's story is secondary to what we learn about her. From the onset, she was very clearly aware of how this case would make her look.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for her, she didn't fully understand just how passionate people would become concerning her involvement. But it is evident that she knew how to lie, and she knew how to lie extremely well. Right now, there is a case that has caught the attention of the American public that almost immediately reminded me of the Watts case. It is the matter concerning the homicide of Celeste Rivas Hernandez.
Yeah.
The artist known as David has been charged with that crime. And what we know of the case and the facts that were recently revealed by the DA's office, well, it was very reminiscent of what I believe happened on August 13th, 2018. What is most shocking to me about this case is that 24 hours after David was believed to have committed the crimes, here he is conducting an interview for his debut album acting as though nothing happened at all.
Yeah.
And just be aware, I have an entire episode where I will be discussing this case being brought against David. But we learned something very important about cases like this, that there are people who are capable of doing truly horrific things and then acting as though they are not bothered at all. That ability to distort the truth and turn disfavorable evidence into an entirely new set of facts, it's something you tend to recognize once you've seen it a time or two. And I believe that ability is on display right now.
Yeah.
And I want you to see exactly
yes.
what I mean in this next segment of Nicole's first interview with Agent Kobach.
So all his
All right, before we play that part, I just wanted to pull up the emails, okay? Just want to pull up the emails real quick. Here we go. Okay, so again, right? We know Nichol Kessinger was lying. She's lying. This is one of the very first times that she sent out an email to everybody. I mean, look at the date, right? It is June 5th. When we pull up our calendar and we pull up the month of June, what do we see? We see that the email between both of them, between Chris Watts and Nichol Kessinger, and where they're talking about having a better life and all of that happened on the 12th. This email that she sent to the group was on June 5th. So she already knew of his existence by June 5th at the minimum, right? At the minimum. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and add this here because I'm just going to put the all hands email because again, I think it's just important to pinpoint the actual date that Nichol Kessinger really met Chris. I don't think it was June. It wasn't June. It was probably before that, but they were talking, not really, and the flirting and the relationship really started to take off after that June 12th email. But I'm going to go ahead and put here all hands NK email to Chris Watts because I do believe that this is when she started to target him. She was doing so by getting his attention, but not going to him directly. She wanted to make it seem like it's some type of work event. You know, I'm just sending this to all the men, not just you in particular, all of them. And then she was able to then slither her little way into the relationship by bringing in work-related questions. Again, that's just me. That's what I believe. But here, let's go ahead and add Nichol Kessinger onto here. Yeah, the all hands Nichol Kessinger email. So look at this, right? When you look at the calendar, you look at Nichol Kessinger all hands. Isn't it interesting, guys? Look at that. Exactly a week later, exactly. The following Tuesday, she's already flirting with Chris via email. This is the all hands. And this is the flirting. And look at that. Look at how fast this relationship took off. All hands email on the 5th. NK Chris Watts work email on the 12th. The following Tuesday after that, Chris Watts misses the ultrasound with Shanann. He gives the tornado excuse the following Tuesday. And then look at this. The Tuesday after that, NK and Chris Watts park date. Tuesday seems to be their favorite day. I mean, look at this. Boom, 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 boom. It seems that every Tuesday in the month of June, something was happening in their relationship. It just sped up like wildfire. So, I don't know, but look at this. The Tuesday prior to the all hands email, Shanann filmed the baby video. This is just way too coincidental for it to be a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. Nichol Kessinger knew what she was getting herself into, and the proof is in the email. June 5th, June 5th, June 12th, June 12th, right? It became an all hands email, and then, right? Look at this. Bud Fred, Scotty Yates, Luke Epple, Chris Watts. All these people were CC'd, except the following emails. Oh, it was just straight to Chris. I don't care what Luke Epple has to say. I'm not into him. I don't like his potato head. I like the potato head of that guy because we have matching last names. Or sorry, we have matching middle names and we have the same potato looking heads. So much in common. I also like cars that go vroom. Not really, but I'll say anything for a man to like me. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So when we pull up all of the dates, we pull up the calendar and we pull up the emails, we know that she's lying. And of course, it is being proven in this video as well. So yeah, what do you guys think? That tornado excuse was pathetic. I don't believe that for a minute. Yeah, neither do I, Angela. It was absolutely pathetic. Yeah, what's up with Tuesday? Exactly, Randy. Tuesday. Yeah. Tuesday is a very, very busy day for both of them, apparently. Yeah, that was their date day. Yeah, let's go ahead and continue.
Photos were sent. There was no apps or anything else you
No,
used that you
no,
guys
no,
were
no,
sending.
no,
It was
no.
all just text messages.
Yeah,
Okay, so it'd be an attachment to a text that he sent you.
pretty much.
But
Everything
Pretty
is in the
much.
text and the phone call records.
so
Like all of it.
Now, what we are watching is the moment when Nichol is being asked to provide her phone records to law enforcement. Agent Kobach asks if her and Chris ever used any applications on their phones for which they communicated through. And immediately, Nichol responds by saying, no. Now, of course, we know in retrospect that Chris has since told us that he was communicating with Nichol on WhatsApp. Nichol knew that as long as law enforcement stayed away from any apps they might find on her phone, that she would have nothing to worry about because she knew that law enforcement wouldn't find anything concerning in her text messages or phone logs. But what I hope you begin to see is that when Nichol lies, she has a very specific tell. Every time she's backed into a corner, she tends to clam up. She gets noticeably uncomfortable. And when she's being asked a question she really doesn't like and she knows she has to lie, she answers the question the same way every time. Listen to it again.
So all his photos were sent. There was no apps or anything else you
No,
used that you
no,
guys
no,
were
no,
sending.
no,
It was
no.
all just text messages.
Yeah.
Now you might think that's just one example, but just 75 minutes later, when Nichol is being asked about the morning of August 13th, she responds like this.
And I was
There was
like,
no other communication between you and him that morning on Monday morning.
well,
at all.
there was, but it was like random,
It-
like
but nothing about this event.
no.
About like my wife's missing or
No,
my anything.
nothing.
No, 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 no. No, 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 nothing.
That's how she answers every single time. No. I know you guys have seen some of my videos. This is where I add Pikachu. You know the Pikachu on crack? Because that is what it reminds me of. Nichol Kessinger and the way that she behaves when she's asked about the text messages and whether or not she was contacting Chris through another app. She goes, That tells me that she's lying. Because again, we know her baseline. We can tell when she's lying because she goes really high. She starts with a lot of the theatrics. No. And then when she is backed into a corner, sometimes she'll just lower her voice even and go, It's because he was married. So many tells. So many. No. So you mean yes? Exactly, just Josie. I can't stand his leading questions. Yeah, exactly. How about more open-ended questions? So you didn't have WhatsApp? Oh, okay. So no to WhatsApp? Okay, so no to WhatsApp. Yeah, how about ask more open-ended questions? So tell us, what other apps did you have? And that would make Nichol Kessinger have to say, I didn't have any other apps. But when you ask her, so you didn't have any other apps? All she has to say is, nope. She doesn't even have to open her mouth. She doesn't even have to say no. She can just go. But when you answer an open-ended question, she would have to answer, and then that would be a giveaway. There would be a tell there because she has to say more words, and then she has to directly lie. So asking, okay, so give me a list of all the apps that you had would have made her nervous. She would have been like, oh shit, I don't have any apps. And then that would have been a lie. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Snapchat too, exactly, with love. Yes. I think Snapchat too, because all of those messages disappear after a few minutes. Let's continue.
Okay.
Nothing.
Now, I understand you might not yet be convinced. However, just 20 minutes later, Detective Kobach asks Nichol again about August 13th. You know, the day that Chris committed the crimes,
Yeah.
which is why she's there in the first place.
Yeah.
And once again, just as a reminder, that was just 3 days prior to this interview. Listen closely.
Right. So on Monday, he never tried to be convincing to get you to come up to see him.
No.
Nothing.
Not that I'm aware of. I don't think so, because I had my buddy Jim was over Monday and Tuesday, and he knew Jim was over Monday and Tuesday, and that's why we were going to hang out on Wednesday.
Okay.
There it is again. She only answers questions this way when she lies. And to be clear, we know she lied because her phone records prove it.
Yep.
We know that her phone pinged in Frederick the morning of August 13th, around the same time that Chris was leaving for work. We have previously proven that Nichol took the exact same route to work every single day for months on end. And for the
Yeah, look at the route. Okay. Thornton, Platteville. This is the route that she took. Never would she take the 25 north into Frederick and then have to cut across to Platteville. No, she went from Thornton through Brighton and to work. The only times that Nichol Kessinger pinged in Frederick was when she was physically there. No other time that did Nichol Kessinger ping in Frederick. The other thing is that Nichol Kessinger didn't ping after Chris Watts was arrested. Isn't that interesting? Interesting, isn't it? Especially because, I mean, she is from Colorado. She is from Thornton, or, I don't know if she's from Thornton, but she lived in Thornton. So if Chris got arrested and she still lived in the area, why wasn't she pinging in Frederick on, September, right? September or November of 2018. All of a sudden, as soon as Chris Watts was arrested and he went away, she never, ever, ever set foot around Frederick ever again. She never pinged there again. Coincidence? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Let's continue.
For the first time ever, her phone is pinging in the neighborhood where Chris lived within the same time frame of when he committed the crimes.
Yeah, look at that. Look at this. This is interesting here, okay? Look at this square here. Let me see if I'm going to change the screen. There we go. All right. Look at the square, all right? Look at how big of a detour she would have to take to go to work through Frederick. I mean, you can't even drive through like this. I mean, look at that. These are streets. These are residential homes. I mean, she wasn't flying a helicopter, right? So she wasn't getting to Frederick and then flying to work. She can't just cross through all the apartments and the houses. She would have to go all the way up and then take this street down to make it to work. But it does seem that this is the fastest route to get to work. So there would never be any time where Nichol would drive from North Glen through Frederick and cut up through Platteville. It just doesn't work that way. Yeah, the Anadarko Square. Yeah, and she didn't clock into work that day. She clocked out. Yeah, because she was cleaning up. Yeah, and so this is very, very telling. Again, it's just one of the other pieces of evidence. Again, it is all circumstantial, but even circumstantial evidence can still be brought to trial. A lot of cases are brought forward with only circumstantial evidence. DNA is something that is actually very new, very, very new. I think it around the 90s, right? 80s, 90s is when, not even the 80s. I think it was more 90s and 2000s when DNA testing was being brought into trials, but it has really always been circumstantial evidence before actual DNA testing. So, yeah, very interesting, right? What do we think? They ignored everything. So frustrating. Twister routine. Let's continue.
We also know that Nicole's vehicle was seen by neighborhood witnesses.
Yeah, Betty.
We know that Chris's basement door
Betty.
sensor was tripped after he left his home that day, despite the claim that no one else was there besides him until returning later that afternoon. But did you catch how she answered that question? Nicole was directly asked if Chris had requested that she come over to his house that day, and she answers, "Not that I'm aware of." What do you mean, not that you're aware of, Nicole? This was 72 hours ago. Did Chris tell you to come over to his house or
Yes or
not?
no?
You see, to me, the only way that response makes any sense at all is if you were really concerned that law enforcement would have been competent enough to search all of your phone records, including the applications like WhatsApp. And then they might have found out that you and Chris were in fact talking all day long and that you were at or near his house, and it's why you were on the phone with him when he was talking to law enforcement the morning after the crimes.
Yep.
Because you wanted to know what law enforcement knew and if you were implicated in any way.
Yep.
You see, ladies and gentlemen, the farther we go down this rabbit hole, the more it exposes the incompetence and prosecutorial negligence of the Weld County DA. And it's why I now contend that the only logical explanation for how he and his office could fail to prosecute Nicole, in light of the innumerable examples we have presented to date, is because they have either in writing or in understanding an agreement not to prosecute Nicole because they were far more concerned with securing a conviction than the execution of justice.
Yep.
I'm with you. We definitely need to accelerate the case because the more it takes, the less sure that they are of situations.
For most of the last 8 years, the true crime community has listened to the words of Nichol Kessinger's father, Dwayne, and remarked at the sheer absurdity of it all. People have...
Yeah, because it is absurd. We need to expedite this case because the longer we wait, the more unsure they are. That is not how it works. The more time you take investigating something, the more you uncover. The better the story, the better the understanding. So Dwayne was actually saying the complete opposite. He's saying we need to speed up the process so that they can know less about you, right? About Nichol Kessinger. That is what he's actually saying here. And this is what's so interesting about Dwayne being in this room and the things that he says. Because, yeah, at first glance, if we just listen to what he said, oh, we just need to expedite this, right? The longer we wait, the harder it is to find answers. Sure, like, you hear it, you're like, okay, yeah, maybe not. But when you really listen to what he's saying, let's expedite it because the longer we wait, the more confusing it gets. No, it doesn't. When you think about it logically, no. The more you dive into the case, the more truth comes out. So he's actually saying, no, let's expedite it so that they know less about you, right? So that they know less about Nichol Kessinger. And what I find interesting is that Kevin didn't clock this at all. He heard it and he didn't say anything about it, which I think, again, is it ineptitude? Is it just that he's incompetent? Is it that he's a newbie? He got hired off the street the same day? What is it? Because if he had said that, I would have corrected him and said, no, sir. Actually, the more we investigate, the more we know. Hello? Duh. Common sense. But again, the man was referring to Nicole. Dwayne Kessinger was talking about Nicole. We need to expedite this because the faster we close this, the less they'll know about you, Nicole. That's what I think. What do you guys think? Yeah, don't lead. No, you're asking questions that are not within your... Again, why was this guy telling the CBI agent how to do his job? He's the CBI agent. Don't tell him how to do his job. Don't tell him what questions not to ask. Come on. Yeah, exactly. He wanted to be sure that all the lies of NK do not come out. Yeah, the more you expedite, the more that's missed. Exactly, Tommy's girl. You can't expedite it and then end up with more answers. That makes no sense. The faster you do something, the more you'll miss. That's the whole point of this. Don't lead. I was elected to lead, not read. Let's continue.
Gone from questioning who he was, his possible connection to law enforcement, and even going so far as to claim that he had some alleged Masonic connections that seemed to suggest a far more ominous reason for why this case went the way it did. But I tend to side with Occam's razor. In this case, we can see just how precarious law enforcement's prejudice can be when favor is given to the wrong people from the onset, when blinders are applied to an investigation that prevents law enforcement from looking at the very people they think are innocent bystanders. Dwayne Kessinger should have never been allowed in that room. Throughout this initial interview, we see that Dwayne was eager to try and negotiate an outcome that kept his daughter out of prison. But he had no authority to be encouraging law enforcement to hurry along their investigation.
Exactly.
Because at this moment, they didn't even know the extent of what Chris had done. They didn't know if Nichol was involved, and yet here he is trying to negotiate a settlement 3 days after the crime. It's completely absurd.
3 days.
In the history of my legal experience, I have never even heard of someone attempting anything that even comes close to something this brazen.
Yeah.
And yet, sadly, it seems to have worked, because the very next thing we hear is the investigator helping Nichol every step of the way to avoid any suspicion from his own investigation. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I will always wonder how this case would have turned out if Agent Tammy Lee had been in this room and not Kevin the cheerleader Kobach.
Because we don't have it on tape, we discussed prior to turning the tape on Tuesday.
Kevin the cheerleader Kovac. Oh my god. I should put pom-poms on him next time. How did I not think of that? Put a little pigtails on him, pom-poms. Hey. No, I made him into every other thing under the sun. I made him into a tiny, man-child with dangling legs. I gave him all kinds of different hats with different sayings on it. But no, I never made him a cheerleader. I even made him a pizza delivery driver. I made him a Geek Squad worker, all kinds of things, but never a cheerleader. Wow, that one just completely missed me. But I'll definitely remember to make him into a cheerleader in future videos.
Which would have been the 14th of August. You had read some newspaper articles on the 13th and the 14th that regarded this case. You had also had a conversation with Chris at some point during the day on Monday.
Look at her face.
And on Tuesday, because of what you found, specifically what you said
She's like
was,
this.
and don't let me put words in your mouth, but you found out that his wife was pregnant.
Yes.
And you did not know that prior. And you found that out via the newspaper articles, and that caused you concern.
Well, I just realized that he was lying to me, and I was like, well, if you can lie to me about this, what else are you lying to me about? And it made me realize that maybe his wife was in danger at that point. And
How oblivious would you have to be to not know what's going on? She's saying, "Oh, I only found out she was pregnant when I read the newspapers." Come on. You can't be living in 2018 and be that uninformed, right? I mean, she lived on her phone. And she's saying, "Oh, I didn't know until I read the newspaper," like the actual paper? Like an actual paper? She didn't read it in an online article. She says the newspaper. Even the way that she says where she got her information from doesn't make sense. She says the newspaper. Was it Dwayne's newspaper? Is he still reading the paper? And she's like, "Oh, hey, Daddy. What are you reading there?" Oh, That's what a newspaper looks like? I didn't know it. Come on, let's continue.
It was day 2 too, and she still wasn't home.
What did that cause you to do with your phone, though?
Oh, what? When I deleted those? I was just kind of grossed out by him, to be honest with you. I was just like, I don't know what's going on right now, but you just lied to me, and I don't want to see this come over my phone anymore. So I removed it.
So you just
But you just lied to me, and I don't ever want to see this coming through my phone, so I just removed it.
Terrible acting. Terrible acting. Oh my God. She was grossed out by him, she says. I was just so grossed out. So grossed out by him that I ended up calling him the following day. I stayed up on the phone with him the entire night, even through the following morning, had a 3-way call. I wanted to make sure that he was okay. Yeah, I was there for him when he was talking on the phone with the police officers. So grossed out. So Nichol Kessinger is claiming that she was so grossed out, yet she's still talking to him the entire rest of the week up until Chris's phone was taken from him because he was arrested. None of it makes sense. Contradiction after contradiction. I removed that. Everybody, let's give her a standing ovation. Meryl Streep, watch out, girl. Nichol Kessinger is coming for that Oscar. Come on. Let's continue.
you already said, but you removed text messages.
I deleted all of his stuff because he lied to me. I mean, that's what it was. It was the hurt that made me delete it, and then it was the lie that made me start questioning everything else he'd been telling me for the last few days.
It was the hurt. This is what she did. It was the hurt that made me delete it. And it was the lie that made me question everything he has ever told me. So it was the lie that made her question things. The lie? So it's not everything else. So the lie to her is, oh, he lied to me about his wife being pregnant. Not everything else. It's not that the wife is missing, the girls are missing, they've been missing for a day and a half. Chris is like, oh, look, there's a ring and you're telling him to pawn it. Oh, it's not the fact that Shanann works from her phone and she's completely gone. Maybe something bad happened to her. No, it was the lie. I just don't like liars, she says. My goodness. And Kay reads. Something's going on with my chat, you guys. It's like I can't even scroll. Why is it not? It's not letting me do anything to it. Okay, here, let's do this. Okay, there we go. Yeah, the hurt. Yeah, not the fact that his family is missing. Exactly, Shelly. Exactly. The hurt, the lie. Not the fact that the whole family is gone. They're missing. Something bad could have happened to them. No, it's not that. It was the lie. I just don't like liars.
And that's when you decided to come forward.
Yes.
Okay.
Over the last several months, I have begun.
Yes. And then Dad, did you see Daddy Kessinger? He's like, he looks like a bobblehead. He looks like a bobblehead in a Jeep. Out in the sand dunes, right? Like, okay, yeah, we're going down this hill. Okay, yeah, let's do it. This is fun. Come on. Let's go ahead and see this again. Because it's so telling.
Removed it.
So you already said, but you removed text messages.
I deleted all of his stuff because he lied to me. I mean, that's what it was. It was the hurt that made me delete it, and then it was the lie that made me start questioning everything else he'd been telling me for the last few days.
And that's when you decided to come forward.
Yes.
Okay.
Over the last several months, I have begun reaching out.
Did you see that? And that is when you decided to come forward? Yes. And then Dad is like, I agree. I concur. What is she doing with her hands, right? I mean, guys, I've seen these videos so many times. But she's doing like, what is it? The sprinkler. She's doing this. What is that? What is that? It's her acting, right? She's so nervous that she's like, "Hey, I got the text message and I was just so I removed it." A lot of extra movements that don't really need to be there. It's her baseline. It's her tells. She is lying. This is how she lies.
Out to former colleagues,
Casting a
asking them a
spell.
number of questions concerning their own legal experience. One of those questions was aimed at their experience with witnesses who had direct knowledge of a crime. My question was, in your experience, does a witness who may have criminal culpability in a crime, do they typically save or delete evidence related to that crime? My second question was as follows. Does a witness with no criminal culpability typically save or delete evidence in relation to that crime? And do you want to try and take a wild guess how they answered? With a combined 200 years of legal experience, the answers I received were clear. If someone has criminal responsibility in a crime, surprise, surprise, they typically attempt to delete or destroy evidence of their involvement.
Yep.
And conversely,
Exactly.
those with no criminal responsibility, they typically do not delete evidence. Why? Because if you're not involved and have nothing to hide, you are going to want to save anything, any evidence at all that might help exonerate you in that case. You would want law
Exactly.
enforcement to see everything you have because it would prove what you knew, when you knew it, and how you were not involved. And here's the
Exactly. This is the biggest argument that we have with Nichol Kessinger and the people that still believe that she's somehow innocent, right? Why? Why would an innocent woman risk going to prison, risk charges of obstruction of justice? Um, what is it? Just impeding the investigation, lying to police. Why would someone risk those charges if you are 100% innocent? If you didn't do anything at all, why would you delete evidence? That evidence is potentially the only thing that will keep you out of prison. So why would you delete it, Nicole? That is the thing that doesn't make any sense. Is if you're completely innocent and you go and you destroy evidence, that is a charge. Why would you risk going to prison when you are 100% innocent? The more likely conclusion here, the more likely explanation is that she weighed her options. She saw her options, right? She saw, I could delete the evidence and I can potentially obstruct justice, but what are how many years will I serve if I obstruct justice versus how many years will I serve if they find these text messages and find that I'm an accomplice? You weigh your options. And in this case, Nichol Kessinger took the risk. She risked getting an obstruction of justice or lying to police charge because it was a way better outcome than being found guilty of a quadruple homicide. It just makes so much more sense. It just, when you think about it logically, again, why would she risk going to prison if she's 100% innocent? The more likely explanation is that she was hiding evidence that would convict her of murder, of being an accomplice, of planning things, of being a mastermind, right? 10 years maybe, right? If she deleted all of the evidence and got 10 years for obstruction, that is way better than doing 5 consecutive life sentences. I mean, weigh your options. And that's exactly what she did. She decided, you know what? I think I'd rather just risk getting a lesser charge than for them to find out the truth and for me to end up in prison with Chris Watts. Yeah. Yes. Thank you so much. Yeah, texts have been retrieved, but Chris Watts pleaded guilty to the LE. Didn't didn't do any digging, case closed. I did miss some few things here. Uh Gaz Gazero? Is that it? I'm like Gazaro. Welcome to memberships. Welcome to Silver. And thank you so much, VDub. Thank you so much for the memberships. Sent out 5 Rabbit Hole Rocks gift memberships. Thank you. Everybody, welcome. Welcome to members. But yeah, isn't this crazy? Again, she's not stupid. She weighed her options. She talked to her dad about it, and her dad's like, delete everything. If they don't find anything, they can't charge you with anything. And that's true. Let's continue.
Rub. Agent Kobach knew this because this was the very next thing he said in response to Nicole's answer.
So just for context,
Yes.
when people delete stuff off phones, usually we go,
No,
hold on a
no,
second.
no. It
And
wasn't
that's why I
malicious
wanted,
at all. It
Yeah, no, I'm
wasn't
not saying it's
malicious at
malicious,
all. He lied to me. It just hurt. Like, I had never felt like he'd ever lied to me before. And it was a big lie. I mean,
Right.
telling somebody that you're in the midst of a divorce and then you have a wife that has a 15-week-old baby on the way is a huge, huge thing. And I was very taken back, and it was hurt. And so at that point, I deleted it. I had a few more quick things to say to him, and then I just got rid of him. That's literally what I did. I just cut him out of my life. It would have honestly been like a bad breakup kind of thing. Like, if none of this other stuff would have happened, that's what it would have been. That would have been the end of it.
If none of this other stuff would have happened, oh, she's referring to the murders. If none of this other stuff, so inconvenient for me. I was supposed to be doing abs today. Yeah, today is abs and back. I like to do both of them at the same time. I would have been at the gym, but so inconveniently, I'm here because of something that happened. Even the way that she describes the murders, right? This is 4 lives were taken, 4 lives. Innocent children, babies, pregnant women. And she's like, if all of this stuff hadn't happened, so inconvenient. Here, let's go ahead and pull up what I was talking about, because I do like to have this reference here. Okay, so look at the different types of charges that would have applied to her had the police done their job correctly. Okay, so in Colorado, deleting evidence is typically charged as tampering with physical evidence or accessory to a crime rather than standard obstruction or accomplice charges. While these offenses overlap, they differ based on exactly when the deletion occurred and what specific intent the accused had. Tampering with physical evidence. This charge specifically targets the act of destroying, hiding, altering evidence to prevent it from being used in an official proceeding. That's exactly what Nichol Kessinger did. She deleted all of her text messages. She destroyed her SIM card even, and then tells Chris Watts to also delete his text messages. That in and of itself is tampering with physical evidence. The next one, the core issue. You do not need to be involved in the original crime to get this charge. Simply trying to hide a smoking gun, like deleting files from an electronic device, is enough. Intent. You must act with a specific intent to impair the evidence availability in current or upcoming investigation. And look at the penalties. It is a Class 6 felony carrying 12 to 18 months in prison and up to $100,000 in fines. Okay, so, imagine being Nichol Kessinger, right? You were just done Googling wedding dresses for 4 hours, back end twister with 2 other players, and then you're also Googling this. And you're like, oh, okay. I would much rather, risk it. I would much rather risk a Class 6 felony and get 12 to 18 months in prison. That's doable. And a $100,000 fine than going to prison for life. Let's look at the other one. Accessory to crime. This crime comes into play when you delete evidence specifically to help someone else. Except in this case, she deleted it to help herself. In this one, look at the penalties. The penalties is a class 5 felony or a class 4 felony. Obstruction of a peace officer, I don't think that one applies, but look at this accomplice liability. An accomplice is someone who aids, abets, advises, or encourages another person to commit the crime before or during its commission. This is fundamentally different from deleting evidence after the fact. Accomplices are held just as responsible as the actual crime as the person who pulled it off. So, she had options. I can either be an accomplice and serve 5 consecutive life sentences just like Chris Watts, or I can risk it and get a class 6 felony and go to prison for 12 to 18 months. Very, very doable. Now again, why would an innocent woman who the only thing she's guilty of is home wrecking and feeling shame, why would a woman who is only a home wrecker risk going to prison for 12 to 18 years if she did absolutely nothing? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Yeah. Tiger, welcome. Welcome to Silver. Welcome. Celebrate. Let's celebrate. All right, let's continue.
It is my opinion that this was the moment law enforcement should have asked Dwayne Kessinger to leave the room. This was
Go.
the moment that they should have read Nichol
Leave.
Kessinger her Miranda rights and began treating her like a suspect.
Yeah.
Nicole's entire answer is a provable lie because her search records proved that she had been searching for Shanann's Facebook account, a public Facebook account that proudly featured and regularly discussed her pregnancy with her myriad of friends and family.
Yeah. 8-4. Let's go ahead and pull up our calendar. Where did it go? If I can find it, here it is. Okay, calendar time. August 4th. That's July. August 4th, right here. Shanann leaves to North Carolina. Chris Watts. Oh, no, that's the first. Whoops, sorry. Okay, here we go. Shanann leaves to North Carolina. Chris Watts flies to North Carolina. This is beach day. And it's right here. Look, it's already in our calendar. Nichol Kessinger checks Chris Watts and Shanann Rusak's Facebook page. Yeah, it's right there. Kessinger searched Google for Watts and Shanann's Facebook accounts while Chris was in North Carolina. The woman who was saying, Chris, work on your marriage. Oh, Chris, you have all of these beautiful things. Why do you want to get rid of them? She's also Googling dresses for 2 hours and stalking him on Facebook. Again, all lies. Let's continue.
And this was something that any investigator could have found out in a matter of minutes,
Literally.
simply by submitting Nicole's phone to the FBI for a Celebrite download. And you might not believe this, but there are still people who think that Nicole's phone was thoroughly investigated
Yeah.
and reviewed by law enforcement.
That's crazy.
And because of that, they think she was fully exonerated. But here's the tea. It wasn't.
It wasn't?
They never downloaded Nicole's phone data because
Here's the tea. It was not. No one fully investigated Nichol Kessinger's phone. That's the problem that we have here. It's that no one investigated. Look at this. During my review of the data extracted from the phones belonging to Chris Watts, Shanann Watts, Nichol Kessinger, certain information was learned. Agent Darren Ford conducted logical extractions of the data from these phones. In conversations with Ford, he advised that the Northern Colorado Forensic Laboratory does not possess technology to perform physical data extractions from Apple devices. Thus, I discovered that extracted data is not inclusive of all data stored amongst the assorted applications within a given device. Nor does activity involving those applications necessarily reflect in the data extracted. Not all of the data was extracted. If we go ahead and look at Nichol Kessinger's actual text messages, the ones that were pulled up, what we find is that everything that was pulled up looks weird. It looks weird. Her deleted evidence is strange looking. Here, let's go ahead and pull it up. It's right here. All right, so let's go ahead and look at the funny text message from Chris Watts trying to buy Nichol Kessinger her Dead Sea Scrolls at the museum. It's here somewhere, but I mean, look at all this stuff here, right? Even this historical attempts from the first through the 12, second through 12, right? It's showing here that it was denied. It couldn't get pulled up anymore. Look at this. Oh, here it is. They have the Dead Sea Scrolls at the museum, but it's sold out. Oh God. I can't believe. Oh my God, I can't believe this man. How is he not embarrassed? Oh my God. How is he not embarrassed? Okay. Look, they have the Dead Sea Scrolls. And then Nichol Kessinger replies, "No, you can't buy the Dead Sea Scrolls. Lols." Lols, she says. She even puts a Z at the end because it's so ridiculous. She just needs to put an extra letter. Dude, the Dead Sea Scrolls are so skip up. Look at all these little symbols here. X dot 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 Q blah, 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 at blah, blah, blah. And then they are some of the oldest, most important writing in the world. Okay. And then there's more little symbols here. And then you see the actual text messages that were pulled up. So when you look at all of this, it tells us something, right? It tells us that from Chris's phone, which was an Apple phone, an iPhone, the messages that they were trying to recover was different because it's different when you pull it from an Apple phone from when you pull it from an Android. And so Nichol Kessinger had an Android phone. She was texting from a what is it, a Motorola? And every time that she texted with her friend, right, you can see the actual text messages. But when you see them with Chris Watts, they come in all wonky, right? They have all these weird dots here. And the ones that couldn't be recovered have all of this weirdness, postponed, denied. And so, again, we have it right here. This is part of the discovery. The worst part is we have access to this. All of you guys can get access to this. So when the public has access and we all join our brains together and use our common sense and start looking into this, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. But anyway, just wanted to show you guys that part of this because this is what that is mentioning, right? It's mentioning the Apple phone and how it couldn't really extract everything from it because they didn't have the tools for it yet. But anyway, let's go ahead and continue. We're going to do a little bit more and then we'll finish the rest of it tomorrow.
As they admit in the discovery records, they did not have the technology to do so. And that isn't my opinion. That is stated by law enforcement themselves in their own records. But Nichol revealed something even more important than the evidentiary facts that disprove her statements. She claimed that she deleted everything because of how hurt she was that Chris had lied.
Come on.
But there's something far more important happening right now. Chris's entire family is gone, so who cares if he lied?
Yeah.
In fact, Nichol herself even goes on to say that she was absolutely freaking out Monday night, not about him lying, but about his family disappearing. Nichol had no reason to delete anything off her phone that following day on Tuesday because she already knew that Chris's family was missing.
Yep.
And it now seems clear that Nichol would not have deleted those records off her phone unless she had something to hide. And I would like to remind you.
Yeah, again, who deletes text messages when an entire family is missing, you need that to exonerate yourself and you need that to put this evil POS in prison. Why? Why would you delete it? Who cares if you're hurt? There are bigger fish to fry. There's way bigger issues at hand right now. A family is missing, and she's like, I don't care about them. My feelings come first, okay? I come first. I was hurt, so that's why I deleted it, okay? This is the story she went with. And it worked. It worked. I will give it to her. As stupid as it is, it worked. Which is more accurate, Roxy's version or Ronnie Watt's version? What? Which or her drunk Nikki's cousin? The Dead Sea Squirrels. Yeah, interesting that divorced parents go on outings together. Let's continue.
You, the audience, Nichol has been in that seat for all of about 40 minutes, and she has not even spoken Shanann's name once. In fact, she actively avoids it, which some psychologists who have analyzed this case believe is a subconscious acknowledgement of her guilt, of her disdain for Shanann. But Nichol didn't just delete everything off her phone. She then went out of her way to tell her friends to delete everything off of their phones as well. And I believe that the evidence is clear that she did this because she knew she was involved and she was desperate to hide the paper trail that implicated her involvement.
But any picture that I wanted to send to him, I sent via text. So if you guys go through the text and the attachments, you will have everything that wasn't said verbally and was done via text. But I think that's it. Like I don't have anything else.
What about WhatsApp, Nichol?
As far
This is another one. I always bring this up because she always says, I mean, the evidence is there, you guys. Just check the text messages. Check all the messages that I deleted. It's in there. How much sense does that make? It defeats the whole purpose of looking into text messages if they're all gone. She's saying that, oh, I'm innocent and everything I'm telling you is true, and you can verify it with all the text messages I deleted. Come on, lady. And the other thing that was brought up is how much disdain she has for Shanann. If she didn't hate her, she would be able to say her name. This woman is missing, right? At this point, Nichol Kessinger, whether she liked her or not, right? Whether she knew about Shanann or not, she is missing. So for someone to not be able to say her name or, oh my God, his wife is missing, that shows clearly that Nichol Kessinger did not like her. She had something very personal against the victim. That alone should have been a huge red flag for Kevin. The fact that she is not able to even say the victim's name is a huge giveaway. God, Kevin. Where is Kevin? I hope he's not with CBI. Who knows? Maybe he's delivering pizzas now. And if he is, I mean, good for him. I hope he's at least better at that. I don't know. I mean, I got pizza delivered the other day and I asked for what was it? Jalapenos, and it didn't come with jalapenos. So maybe he forgot to put jalapenos on my pizza. Maybe he's not good at his job. Who knows? But oh my goodness. All right. God, let's go ahead and continue for a few more minutes here.
like no Facebook, no Instagram, no Twitter, no LinkedIn, like none of it. So there was never any of that kind of correspondence. So I think that should probably cover everything you guys will need.
Is there
I think that should cover everything that you guys need.
You believe me, right, Kevin? Yeah, notice that she says, I think that should cover everything because I didn't have no LinkedIn, no Facebook, no Instagram, no MySpace, no AIM. She goes down the list of all the things that she didn't have, but she doesn't say, oh, I didn't have WhatsApp. I didn't have Snapchat. And then does the whole eyeball thing. Huge giveaway.
there any particular messages that would help me so I don't have to look at, because whatever's on your phone, I don't know how long we're going to get back to, but let's say is there a particular date or time or message that stands out to you that would be relative to specifically to the investigation into this case that might assist me in understanding why something like this could have occurred?
I'm still in shock that this whole thing happened.
I can imagine.
That's why I gave him the benefit of the doubt for the first day, because I was just like, no way. Like, I didn't even think about that. I mean, murder.
Like, I don't even. The way she goes, I didn't even think about that. Murder was not the first thing that comes to my mind. Yeah, that would have been the entire day, August 13th. Let's go ahead and see this again.
Particular date or time or message that stands out to you that would be relative to specifically to the investigation into this case that might assist me in understanding why something like this could have occurred?
I'm still in shock that this whole thing happened.
I can imagine.
That's why I gave him the benefit of the doubt for the first day, because I was just like, no way. Like, I didn't even think about that. I mean, murder.
Like, I didn't even, think about that. Like, murder does not come to my brain.
She says she gave him the benefit of the doubt all of August 13th. All of it, all of August 13th. Let's go ahead and pull up our calendar. Let's pull up our calendar and see what she means by I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I didn't even think murder. All right, let's go ahead and look at August 13th. One of the busiest days. Yeah. So Nichol Kessinger did not talk to Chris Watts at all on that day. Let's go ahead and just pull up the other view here. So when we look at this, 0 calls, right? 0 calls, nothing, no communication. Although Nichol Kessinger does ping in Frederick, and no communication. The only communication comes in at 2:44. Interestingly enough, it comes in after Shanann's phone turns on, when Chris already knows that the police are at his house and they're investigating. All of a sudden, that is when their communication resumes. Then we see Nichol Kessinger call him, 2 unanswered calls, and then again, 2 more unanswered calls. And then, look at this, 50 minutes, and all the way down here, 52 minutes, and it goes into the next morning, right? It goes into the next morning. Look at this, more calls, more phone tag. So she's saying, I gave him the benefit of the doubt, except when it came to August 14th in the morning, it seems like she was not really giving him the benefit of the doubt, because she was trying to figure out if she was being implicated in this as well, right? So again, contradiction. It is a lie. It's a lie, because we have the evidence right here. And again, we didn't pull this out of our buttholes. All of this literally came out of the discovery. Okay, this is from the discovery. All of this is a factual evidence, but it has been put into a calendar so that we can actually visualize it with colors. And so we can see the events as they unfolded. Again, lie. Huge lie. Let's continue.
Was not on the top of my mind when somebody doesn't come home for an evening, especially if they've just had some sort of heated conversation. It's like, okay, you guys are separating, you have a heated conversation, you leave for a night. I didn't even think this guy killed his wife. I mean, that murder is something on the top of my mind when I call one of my friends for 3 or 4 hours and she doesn't answer the phone. That doesn't even process to me as a real thing that is a possibility at that point.
I don't even think that's a real possibility at that point.
She doesn't think that murder is a possibility. That's what she says. I've never heard of any murders. I thought that just happens on TV. People really murder others? I thought that was fiction. I didn't even think it was possible up until that point. Again, the way that she says it, right? It's so weird. It's so weird. She does the whole thing with her body. Ugh. What is going on? Lying. That's what she's doing. She's lying. Oh, please, NK. Exactly. Oh my goodness. Yeah, pinging in Frederick. Big red flag. Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't have had the second glass of wine. Oh no, Tiger. Tiger's having a party in the chat. Yeah, I don't know. Should we do this next time? Bring our wine, take a little swig of wine every time Chris Watts says like, or every time Nicole Kessinger does the eyeball thing, or every time she goes, I don't even think that happened. Right? Anytime she does something weird, we would all be completely wasted by the end of it. My legs would be up. I'd be like, oh my goodness. Let's continue. Yeah, I wish I had my own vino. Yes, Argentinian, right? It's got to be from Argentina. Only the fancy stuff. Nicole doesn't like California wine. Oh, California. Christopher. You got to be fancy, bro. Only wine from Argentina. Yeah. They talk to all the fancy things and Dead Sea Scrolls and museums, and she's teaching him all about, culture. So much culture. Have you heard of empanadas, Christopher? No, what is that? It's me. I'm the sexy empanada. I'm the snack, Chris. Come get me. Oh, God. Let's continue. Hey, that's probably why she likes brown. She's like, look, this is what an empanada looks like. Yeah, when you put it in the oven and leave it in there for too long. Yeah, let's continue.
And so that's why I gave it a day. And then the second day I was talking to him, he was just like a hot mess, I could tell. And then with like the way he was talking.
You're a hot mess, Nicole. I can tell. We can all tell. He's a hot mess. I could tell. Bro, no, you are a hot mess. Look, she's saying that Chris was a hot mess the next morning. Well, duh. Duh. How could he not be? The police are at his house. Nichol Kessinger isn't giving him direction. So, of course, he's a hot mess. He's an idiot. He's talking to police, telling them, oh, the Facebook machine. Oh, my God. So, of course, he's a mess.
Talking to me, and then that's kind of when I cut him off and I stopped talking to him.
One of the very first videos I ever posted involving the Watts case surrounded the issue of Nicole's claim specific to what transpired on August 13th, 2018. Nicole just emphatically stated that for the first entire day, she gave Chris the benefit of the doubt, that she was not initially worried at all about where Shanann and the kids went. And she tells Agent Kobach that it wasn't until the following day, on August 14th, midway through the day, that she even began to feel any concern about their disappearance. She just provided law enforcement with a crystal clear, unambiguous timeline of what she did and when, which is really odd because just 90 minutes later, in this same interview, Nicole says this.
Oh, and like I kept telling him I was scared. I was really freaking scared. In fact, that's another thing I miss. I'm so tired. Monday night, like, I called him back in the middle of the night because I could not sleep. I could not sleep at all. And I remember when I called him, he sounded like he was sleeping. And I was like, how the hell can you sleep right now? I think that's exactly what I said to him.
How the hell can you sleep right now? I think that's exactly what I said to him. Let's go ahead and pull up the phone calls. I think that's exactly what I said to him. Calvin. Let's go ahead and pull up the phone calls. She did. Yeah, she did call him. Look at this. 50 minutes. 52 minutes. She's saying that she was worried. However, one of these calls is the smelly sheets call. It also happens to be the same time that she said, pawn it, man, when Chris asked her about the wedding ring. Chris is like, I have a wedding ring. Nicole says, your wife is still messing? She's been messing for a day? Pawn it, man. Pawn it. I pawn shit all the time. You're probably only gonna get like $10, but fuck it. Pawn it, man. Come on. And right now she's claiming that the phone call was because she was worried. She was worried, even though she just said she wasn't worried until the following day, the 14th. She said she gave him the benefit of the doubt the entire day of the 13th, but then also says, no, I was actually worried. So which is it? Were you worried? Were you not worried? Were you pawning the ring? Do you pawn shit all the time or just occasionally? Which is it? Which is it?
And he was just like, I'm just kind of dozing off and on the couch. And I just remember thinking, like, I haven't shut my eyes yet. And this is not even my family. And so that happened on Monday night.
To be clear, Nichol just altered her entire timeline of events.
She did.
She previously said she wasn't concerned until the afternoon of Tuesday the 14th. But now she's saying on the night of the 13th, she kept telling Chris she was scared. What would Nichol Kessinger have to be scared of?
Yeah.
Let's think about this logically. If Nichol knew nothing about what Chris did, if she was not involved in any way, if she was nothing more than the Amber Fry of this case and was completely oblivious to the heinous things Chris had done that Monday morning, then what in the world would Nichol have to be scared of? No reasonable person would hear these two contradictory statements and think to themselves that these are the words of someone who did not know exactly what happened the morning of August 13th. Nichol has no reason to be scared unless she was involved.
Exactly.
Either in knowing what Chris did after the fact, or in now being what is alleged by Chris himself, that she orchestrated the events the morning of the 13th. And to be clear, Chris now claims that Nichol gave him an ultimatum and told him to choose either her or Shanann. Chris claims that Nichol knew exactly what he was going to do, and she encouraged it. Now, of course, we can all agree that Chris Watts has absolutely no credibility at all.
Yeah,
but again, Occam's razor. Nichol is behaving in a way that is consistent with someone who has something to hide. And every single day that has passed since this...
I love it. Occam's razor. Occam's razor, for all of you who don't know, Occam's razor. The most probable answer is most likely the correct one, okay? This is where you look at all the evidence. The thing that makes the most sense, the thing that that needs the least amount of explanation is the thing that makes the most sense. So, for example, when people say, oh, the ping in Frederick, right? When we look at the ping in Frederick, what is Occam's razor here, right? It is more likely that she pinged because she was there. If we start thinking, oh, well, maybe the phone broke. Maybe the tower wasn't working that specific day. Maybe the tower signal moved. Maybe on this very specific day, she drove up through Frederick and then to Platteville. Those are all way more explanations than the thing that makes the most sense is she pinged because she was there. It is the most likely conclusion because when you look at it, she's pinging. It means that she was there. If we're trying to explain other things, right? Oh, her phone wasn't working. Oh, it's just Verizon. It was going through some type of, I don't know, ownership change. New CEO came in. When we start going down those little excuses, it stops being obvious and it stops becoming an excuse. It starts becoming an excuse, I should say. It starts becoming an excuse. Occam's razor is the most obvious of the answers, is usually the right one. And so I'm so happy that he said this right now because, yeah, it's just logical. Think about it logically.
This interview is a stain on the Weld County DA and his credibility as a representative of law enforcement because they now know that Nichol lied repeatedly, that she broke the law every time she lied, and they never bothered to ask the most important questions surrounding those lies. Why?
We just We want to give you everything.
Why? The most important question here is why was she lying if she says that she is innocent? Again, when we look up all of the things that she could have been charged with, no innocent person would risk going to prison just because you're a mistress. Oh, I'm so ashamed. I'm a homewrecker. I'm going to risk going to prison just so that I can hide my shame? I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I mean, that's a pretty stupid thing to do. Why would you risk going to jail or prison, I should say, prison and a $100,000 fine just because you're embarrassed or because you're a homewrecker? So what? You know, own it. Own up to it. You're a homewrecker, own it. But again, it's just weird. She would not risk her entire freedom just because she was embarrassed or ashamed. But anyway, all right. So we're going to go ahead and stop it right here. We are at 43 minutes. So yeah, we are almost at halfway through. So we will be finishing this tomorrow. Okay. Yeah. We'll go ahead and finish this tomorrow. Again, lots of new information. I mean, even if it's not new, we're still able to bring up our calendar and then see what's going on there. So I absolutely love this. But yeah, we are going to resume this tomorrow, guys. And oh my goodness, I have so many news for you guys. I have so much news. Yeah, so the channel is evolving. So if you're seeing, there's going to be a few changes starting tomorrow. Our live streams are all gonna move to noon. I think it's just easier. It's easier for me to just keep a schedule of like every single live stream is at noon. And I think it's also easier for you guys to be able to, keep up with it, keep up with the schedule. So from now on, Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Sundays are going to be our live streams, and they will always be at noon. Okay, always at noon. That way we don't have all kinds of confusion and different conflicting times. So that is one. The next one is the big news, you guys. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you. I am embarking on a new project, and this is what is going to be the next phase of the channel. I am working on a documentary. Yes, and it is a Nichol Kessinger documentary. This documentary is going to be focused around why Nichol Kessinger wasn't charged and with a scope into the criminal justice system and specifically DA Rourke. And the thing with this documentary is that we are going to be telling the story. The thing that I want to do with this documentary more than anything is to be able to bring all of the evidence that we already have, right? Everything that we already have. Let's just, let's go ahead and pull up our calendar, especially everything that Behind Criminal Minds is already talking about, right? We are going to make a documentary and it's going to be the exact timeline, okay? It is going to be a storytelling mode. So the goal here is going to be, excuse me, to tell the story of Chris Watts and Nichol Kessinger from the very, very start. And we are going to be on location. So there's going to be storytelling from location. That way it's easy to follow, it's easy to visualize, and then the story will be told more consistently in a way that will be remembered. When we tell stories, people tend to remember them better than when we break them up into separate videos and into separate evidence here, there, over there. Get me that link, right? It's just we have way too much information everywhere. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to make a full-length feature documentary, a full-length film, and we're going to take you, the viewer, and everyone else through the actual timeline. Every single place that they visited. We're going to go to the Bandimere Speedway. We're going to go to Survey 319. We're going to go to the Ford Museum. We're going to the sand dunes. We're going to the Lazy Dog. We're going everywhere. We're going to be telling the story from the perspective of Chris Watts and Nichol Kessinger themselves. We're going to be able to tell the story, show the evidence in a way that is easily digestible in one full-length film. And then the most important part is that we're going to dive into the biggest question. Why didn't DA Rourke press charges or investigate or arrest her, given that we have so much evidence against her? So much. This is a big project and I'm excited. I am more than excited. It is an ambitious project and, I'm doing it all by myself, but I'm very excited to do this. Um, Currently, the timeline is a year. Okay. So I'm giving myself a year at least to be able to produce and publish this film. And, you know, I'm thinking with everything that we have already, we will be able to start production, which it has already started, by the way. It has already started. It started this weekend. But production of the full-on documentary, I'm already seeing that it will start in July. And there after that, we're going to actually be putting everything together, editing. And so the entire summer, okay, it's June, July, and August, I'm going to be on location. We're going to be telling this story as if it were summer of 2018 all over again. We're going to be going through it. We're going to be testing the timelines. We're going to be testing Chris Watts's drive to Survey 319, all of it, all of it. And so I'm giving myself a year to complete this project. It might take a little bit longer. It might take less. We don't know yet, but it's amazing, guys. And I'm so excited. So excited. So yeah, that is the project that I am embarking on. And so as you've seen, a few changes with our schedule because I just need a little more time to be able to get out and be able to put this story together. Now, for this documentary, I will be launching a Patreon. So for any of you who wants to, if you do want to support the documentary, you will have access to exclusive footage. You will have access to exclusive documentary making process. So you will have the access that I will have while I'm on location. So yes, if you do want to support the project, if you want to support the documentary, I will be launching a Patreon this week. I will let all of you know. And yeah, there's different tiers, so it's up to you, how much you want to support the project. And of course, I mean, your support, I will say, I appreciate all of you. I mean, if you're subscribing, you're watching my videos, that is absolute amazing support. And if you want to just support the documentary, then yeah, there's also that Patreon. And you will have exclusive access. There's, different types of access, but we will have investigations that are exclusively for the documentary. And so if you want to be part of that, there's that. There's also a producer exclusive documents where you will be able to actually be part of the documentary making process with me. I'll be sharing a lot of my scouting. I'll be sharing a lot of raw footage of being out there on location, photos, and any ideas that I have on how I visualize this project, on how I want to tell the story. So if you do want access and if you do want to support the documentary in that way, Patreon will be available. And again, I appreciate each and every single one of you for all of your support. This is a very, very big project. And yeah, if you want to embark on this project with me, if you want to go on the journey with me and test these timelines with me, you will have access to it. And I am so excited, guys. I have so many ideas for this. And most importantly, the thing that is most important is that I want this documentary to be released at around the same time that the new district attorney is coming in. That way it coincides, right, with the timeline at around the same time that there are eyes and that there is a spotlight on the Weld County district attorney at that time. And so it will renew the interest in the case, although it will never die, but it will renew it, and it will also bring in other viewers, people who are possibly on the fence. We are able to put all of this evidence together and actually show it in a story mode that people will never forget. It's awesome, you guys. I mean, it is a lot of work. I don't have my notebook with me. I left it downstairs, but there's a lot. And I've been working on the Patreon, so it will be launched and I will let you all know it will be this week. Very, very excited, guys. Anyway, that was the big news that I wanted to tell you. I just wanted to make sure to get out there first, to be able to scout these locations and to have a better idea, and to come up with a thesis before letting everybody know. But we're there now. We're there now. We've scouted 2 locations and they're going to be on Patreon. And I mean, it's a big project, but I am hopeful and I'm confident that if this is a really well made documentary, it is going to open the eyes of other people who don't know about the case and those who are also on the fence. So that's it. Very, very exciting stuff, guys. I am so excited. Thank you guys so much for your support. But yeah, that's basically it, guys. Yeah, that's all I have for you today. Yeah, be on the lookout for that, and I will let you all know in a live stream once I do launch that Patreon. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Before I go, I do want to just check here. Let's go ahead and pull this up. Okay. Yeah, I do just want to check that I got everyone's. Oh my goodness, I missed so many. Oh my gosh. Tiger, okay, yes, Tiger. Ericisa, thank you so much. Ericisa, thank you so much for the super chat. Oh my goodness, Ericisa again. Oh my God. So amazing. Like and subscribe for rocks. Thank you guys so much. Randy, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Aw, grab a snackle on your way to the sand dunes. Yes. Yeah, documentary fund. Yes. Thank you so much, Josie. Aw. You guys are amazing. Thank you guys so much. If it weren't for you guys, I wouldn't even feel capable of making this documentary. I will say you guys have helped me so much. This calendar would have been impossible without you guys, without our live streams, without your chats, without your links, and without the community support. I mean, it's huge. It's a lot of information, and I appreciate each and every one of you for it. But yeah, that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much again. I'm just going to stop rambling at this point. Thank you guys so much. I love you all. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you tomorrow at noon. At noon, okay? So all of my moderators, we're starting at noon now, all the time. That way we just don't get confused. Thank you guys so much. Love you. Take care. I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys. Bye. Thank you, guys.